hope that the audio is a lot better for you guys this time than it has been in the past. Let us know if you can hear us.
If you can hear us, and if we sound good, let us know. Oh gosh. Oh, I can listen to us here. Okay. Well, I can hear us. All right. Well, hello, guys. It is a rainy, doomy, gloomy day here. We were doing some clearing, and then it started raining harder and harder and harder, and we had to give up.
One of our big projects right now, this early spring, while everything's still wet, is to try to clear some area around our building to have a little better fire defense than we had last summer, because it was a little scary how heavily wooded things were around here.
Yeah, the fire always on our minds, and we just ran out of time last summer, so we are using, it's still open burn season, which means we can burn as much as we want, so we're using that to really try to get the property cleared up. There's like a bonus to doing all of the clearing, and that means that we're opening up our view and we get more airflow and more light, and so it's been really fun.
It's like now when we look out our windows, we can actually see out. Before, all we could see was a wall of trees in front of us, so it's been really nice. We're having a lot of fun working outside finally. After a long winter of not being able to do much outside, it's been nice to have some sunshine and some outside time.
Working outside has been really nice. Like, I don't want to work inside right now, so we've just put the apartment on hold and we're working outside. We're going to start this video by talking about the giveaway that we're doing. We recently got some really sad news that our really good friend Sam passed away. It was very sudden. He had been battling a very rare cancer for a year. We thought he had beat it. We were down there in Flagstaff for Overland Expo, and we stayed with them, and it was the celebration of Sam has beat cancer, but he didn't. And he very suddenly passed away a few weeks ago, and so we would like to honor Sam, and we'd like to help his family. His wife, Leah, is a really good friend of mine that I met through the Rebel. They have 2 young kids, and we want to help them. And so we're going to be doing a giveaway for an EcoFlow Delta. You can learn more about that on our website, or I've put a link in the description of this video as well as in the chat. Tickets are $10, and all of that money is going to go to Leah to help her with everything that's going on right now. We actually have the EcoFlow Delta here, so it is real.
Here it is, guys.
Here it is.
You can win this monster power box.
This is the same line of products that we have. We have the Delta Pro. I don't know if you want to talk about.
So this Delta has a 1800 watt inverter. So an inverter that's big enough to power pretty much any household appliance, and it's got a 1300 watt hour battery. So yeah, this is a real power system that can pretty much serve as a battery backup for your home, and I think it would be a great addition to anyone to take camping or
in an
garage.
expedition, in a truck camper. So we have this. The giveaways, the fundraising is going to go through the whole month of May. So on May 31st, we will announce randomly the winner. And then also, Dan, thank you so much. Any super chat money from this live is going to go directly to Leah as well. So if you're more comfortable supporting Leah that way, you can do that as well. So tickets all the way through May. More information, you can just go to our website, ambitionstrikes.com, or I've put a link down in the description. And thank you guys so much. We announced this morning, and we've already had 100 people, I think, purchase tickets, and it's amazing. And it doesn't change the fact that Sam's gone, but I hope that it will help Leah. So thank you guys. And with that, we're going to move into the rest of our live. We're glad winter's over.
I also want to just add one more thing really quick, which is that Sam was committed to living every aspect of his life to the absolute fullest. And we also ask that you guys just help us honor him by living your life to the fullest.
Go on that trip, that camping trip you've been talking about, or the road trip you've been planning for years. Take the trip, because you never know what's going to happen.
So thanks guys for watching, and thanks for helping us support Sam's family and Leah and her kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So with that, we'll go into our live. I think we're just going to do a discussion, and then we'll do some Q&A. Winter is over. We are so enjoying working outside. So enjoying it. The weather, until today, it's raining, has been really nice. Almost t-shirt weather.
And so, working outside, one of our next big projects up here is going to be getting our concrete poured in the shop. I cannot wait to get all that equipment that we hauled up set up and working in here. But before we can do any of that, we've got to get our concrete poured. And before we can get the concrete poured, that's when our next project comes in, which is, you could probably guess, is working on our road so that we can get the concrete trucks up here.
We last summer had some guys out who were like, well, I think as the road is, the trucks could get up, but they're going to have to be half loads and they might have to back up the hill. And that's a bunch of time, which ends up being a bunch of money because you're paying guys to be here longer. So our goal is to get the road improved to a point where it's not an ordeal to get concrete trucks up here.
So we already had a bunch of road base delivered. We got a big diesel transfer tank so that we can fuel our excavator for longer periods of time without having to go to town to refuel. And pretty much as soon as the mud dries up, we're going to be hitting the road hard and getting some base on it, getting some rock in it, getting some drainage figured out, and getting a real road.
With a very small budget. We're trying to not get, we were really overwhelmed by the road. But I think then we both realized we don't have to make the road perfect right now. We just have to make it better. And I think the long-term road plans with culverts and tons of drainage and all of that, that's like the 5-year plan. And right now we're just trying to make little improvements because little improvements are actually pretty drastic at this point.
There's the 80-20 rule where like 80% of our problems come from 20% of the spots. And if we can just improve those 20% of the spots, we're going to have a road that is 80% better.
Mm-hmm. So the road is a big one. And then that means concrete. And we are both so excited to have a concrete slab and build out our workshop because we love building things.
Right now our shop is sort of this dark dungeon. It's more of a basement. It's got a gravel floor. There's no lights. The walls are just plastic. And so once we get the concrete poured, that's when we can really start finishing off the interior of the shop and like finally have this building project that we've been working on now for a year wrapped up and finished.
And get the plasma table set up and our welders. And so it's really exciting that is all coming to fruition because our apartment is basically done. I mean, we're calling it done. I think when the bugs get bad and it gets really hot this summer, there are still things that we want to do. But for now, we're calling it good enough.
What other projects are we going to be working on this summer?
Well, just recap, like the kitchen, having a working kitchen, we had no idea how much we missed that. Like, no idea. That has been amazing.
Like, I can't believe how much easier our lives have gotten even over the last month or so as we now have a working shower. We have a porta potty up here, so we have an actual like bathroom here on site. We have a working kitchen. We have a dishwasher with hot water, which I don't think you guys have seen the dishwasher yet. Oops.
Spoiler
Alert.
Episode coming soon will be about installing Riley's dishwasher.
And we pretty much have a fully functional, normal home. And over the last few days, we've been working outside doing all this brush clearing and burning, and we're hot and tired and smell like smoke. And we're able to come inside to a warm, clean house, take a shower, and cook a meal. It has been amazing.
And so that's a good question that I'll answer right now. How are we handling water right now? So we don't have a well. We are hauling water with the plan that we would like to set up a pretty big rain collection system to hopefully supplement that.
And right now, with the conditions that we have right now, hauling water is really easy for us. We have 4 of those 300-gallon IBC totes now. We can haul 3 at a time to town in the back of the army truck. We can fill them up pretty quickly in town and then haul them back, which gives us 900 gallons to have here, which lasts us a long time. It would be awesome though if we could just collect this rain that's falling right now off our roof straight into some tanks, and so we're hoping in the future to make some time to set up the rain collection.
Yeah, rain collection. If we were somewhere like California, we probably would have already had the rain collection set up, but like figuring out the infrastructure that can handle winter, so that like gutters won't freeze and that the tanks won't freeze, it just makes things a little more complicated to figure out. So that's why we haven't just like done it. We're trying to figure out a system that hopefully we don't have to like disassemble in winter, because that's just one more thing to have to deal with.
We're also on this project up here, we're trying to do as little baby steps as possible, and once we set something up, we're trying to just do it right the first time and then not have to think about it again and have a system that's long-term sustainable without a lot of extra effort and maintenance. And so it's really easy to just start doing a whole bunch of temporary things, but temporary things are a lot of extra work and a lot of extra money, and we'd rather just do it right the first time.
Oh, that's a good question. Does EcoFlow have a system for home self-contained, or is it intended for portable power only?
Yeah, so actually they do. The Delta Pro model that we have, they have a what's called the Smart Panel, which is a electrical panel for your house that has individual breakers and an automatic transfer switch, so that you can use that EcoFlow Delta Pro as a home backup system and have it only power the critical circuits, so that if your grid power goes down, this automatically kicks on and only powers the circuits that you've determined that you want to be on in that situation. For example, refrigerator, lights, any critical appliances like medical related ones that you might have. It's a really cool system. And also when you have the smart home panel, now I haven't tested any of this, so this is just based on my reading on their website. You can set it up to automatically charge the Delta Pro during off-peak hours, which I think is pretty cool. So they also advertise it as a way to save power or save money on your power bill, because you could charge up the Delta Pro during off-peak and then use the power during on-peak.
That's cool. We did a lot of research and we liked the EcoFlow products. And so then when they had reached out to us about working with us, we were really excited. So it's kind of like a twofold, like we are sponsored by EcoFlow, but it's also a product that we believe in. You know, I think it's like that balance and disclosing that to you guys, but also like their products so far have worked really well for us. So that's why we're willing to talk about them with you guys.
And so since we are sponsored now by EcoFlow, we are going to be testing their new products as they come out later this year. And so it's going to be really exciting to be some of the first people to have our hands on these products and get to share them with you guys. So looking forward to future videos of showing you some really cool new stuff.
And if you didn't see our video that came out this morning, we talked about our current power setup and how we're powering our property. So you can go check that out. Let's see. I'm going to check some comments, you guys.
And if we, guys, the questions roll through our screen so fast. So if you ask a question that you really want answered and we didn't answer it, just ask again, because we probably haven't seen it.
Yeah. Let's see. A spring. There might be a spring on our property. We're always looking. You never know. That would be cool. Unfortunately, wells on our hill are like 700 feet deep and either dry or very low producing. So that's why we're definitely trying to avoid drilling a well, at least right now, while the budget is very tight.
The well is also very expensive, and it takes a lot of power to power a well pump that is that deep. Hey, how do you like this question? What is your most valuable piece of equipment on the off-grid property?
The excavator!
We were saying it again this morning, like as we're burning these burn piles, how fast Courtney and I are able to get work done with that excavator. I think it has saved us over a year of time on this build already. It has been, and we don't ever have to do any heavy lifting. It does all the heavy lifting for us. So hands down, we wouldn't think twice about buying another excavator if we were to do this all over again.
It was a terrifying purchase, but absolutely worth it. And so then another question is, do we have plans to hook into the grid ever? Nope.
The power is so far away that it's not financially possible for us to bring on-grid power in here, and there is no such thing as on-grid water. So nope, we have no plans to be on the grid.
I mean, never say never. Maybe someday, if power was like right there, I think we would consider it. But it's very far away, and also, I love the idea of being completely self-sufficient. I mean, even people who are on-grid power up here, the power goes out a lot. So it's I don't know, I think it's cool, and it's been fun so far. And my only goal was that I didn't want to give up the residential feel. Like if I want to sit in my house with the lights on and use the microwave, I wanted to be able to do that. But with the technology that's available today, that's totally possible.
It's amazing to me, just in the last couple of years that I've been watching this stuff, how much better all of the off-grid solar and battery technology has gotten, and it's way cheaper now than it used to be too. So it's totally possible to be fully off-grid and have as much power as you want.
And yes, Sean, we do have plans to add air conditioning to the apartment potentially, so stay tuned for that. Gray water, that's a good question. So we have the porta potty for black water, and for gray water, we kind of just have like this gravel pit that we made with the excavator, and we run a hose to it for now. So that's mostly just the shower.
And, it's not an ideal system to deal with our gray water, but it's been working with how little gray water we make up here right now because we're so careful about how much water we use.
I think we make about 100 gallons a week right now.
And this is a temporary solution that we have now until we can get our long-term septic system set up and figured out.
And that is one of our big projects that we're not quite ready to tell you about yet, but we've got some exciting stuff hopefully coming up with septic and gray water and all of that. So
we're hoping to do things a little differently, so stay tuned with that.
That'll be exciting if that works out. And same thing like with the garden. It's hard to think about a garden while we're hauling water because the thought of having to bring water in for something else is very unappealing. So I think that that's something that we would consider down the road when we've got rain collection and better water systems in place.
The question, is there one thing that is much more difficult than you expected up here being off grid?
Oh, that's a good question. The mud.
The mud has been rough. Everything is always super dirty and it's really hard to keep things clean.
Not having running water. Well, I mean, we do now, but like being limited on water with the mud and the dogs and stuff and the dust, same thing, kind of like it's dirty. What's your thing?
It's not really off-grid related, but getting materials has been really difficult. And that's just related to material shortages and material costs and the building boom that's happening right now. It's been really difficult for us just to get basic things like lumber and trusses and posts. And I did not anticipate having to spend that much time thinking about what we were building, planned around what we could get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was... And just being willing to go with the flow and make changes, like our building ended up smaller than we originally wanted and that kind of stuff. Ooh, any run-ins with wildlife? There are turkeys that taunt the dogs and a chipmunk that taunts the dogs. We've caught elk and moose and deer on our game cams, but we haven't had any run-ins with them.
But we do have a resident weasel that spends time right here around the building. We've now seen it 2 separate times, which is super cool. We just really hope the dogs don't ever get tangled up with that weasel because I think the weasel would win.
The goats. The goats are back in California on my parents' property. So they're being very well cared for. I don't know that we'll move them up here. Uncle, the big goat, is really, really old. We actually don't know how old he is. And I don't think that like a 22-hour car ride. I think Uncle's going to live the rest of his life in a happy, sunny pasture in California.
He's got a pretty good life down there.
Oh, why is Boone always on a leash? You guys have started the free Boone movement. When we're filming, if we're not paying attention, he will just wander and he will never come back. He's like perfectly content. He'll go live with anyone. So while we're filming, we are not capable of supervising him. So he's on a leash. He gets to be free and run around when we can watch him. That's just usually not while we're filming. And he has an e-collar, and sometimes we'll use that as well. But if he wants to run away, he'll just close his eyes and keep running.
And when we have the cameras rolling, we have to focus on what we're doing, and we can't focus on Boone, so he gets tied up.
So Boone gets a leash sometimes, but he's very happy, I promise.
What happened up to our deck? So our deck is still on the list. We're going to build a nice big deck out the side right here with a staircase going up to it. But
hopefully covered and screened in so we can use it even during bug season.
And during the winter so the snow doesn't fall on it. But like everything, it's a work in progress and we're hoping to get to that eventually. Mm-hmm. But for now, we're focused on sort of our utilities up here.
Ooh, that's a good one. What's our most energy intense electrical load? The microwave?
The microwave is probably our biggest load. The refrigerator, of course, uses power 24 hours a day and it goes through auto defrosts, and when it does an auto defrost, it uses a lot more energy than I realized a fridge would use.
Like you did it in the middle of the night the other night. And
it's kind of a surprise. So we'll see our battery levels and think we're all good, and then the fridge will go through an auto defrost and use a whole bunch of our battery. So a friend of mine, Tim, told me that there are refrigerators you can buy that cost a little bit more money that don't do auto defrosts. You have to manually do it. They're like off-grid specific fridges. I don't know if we would do that before. It's one of those things where when you buy the normal appliances, they cost a lot less than the off-grid specific ones, and instead we could take that cost savings and just build a bigger power system. Everything's a guessing game sometimes on where you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, that's a good one. And will we have enough power for the plasma table? So our current power system, the Delta Pro that we're using, we got that in winter, and the plan was kind of to take us through summer. This summer we do have plans for a larger, more residential power system, and that's when we'll be able to power things like the plasma table.
So yes, we're going to have enough power up here to power all of our fabrication tools, including the air compressor, welders, plasma table. I cannot wait for that.
And a ton of solar, so that hopefully, especially in summer, we don't need to be running a generator like ever.
I'm also excited because once we get that more permanent system set up, then our Delta Pro can become a portable thing that we can haul around the property and use power tools on any project we want around here.
Well, that's a good question, James. So when we went on our road trip, we just unplugged the fridge and took what we wanted to take with us in our camper fridge. So, what model welder? Oh, that's a good one because we recently got a new welder.
Yeah, so we actually now have a Miller Multimatic 220, which is a AC and DC TIG welder, a MIG welder, and a stick welder all in one unit. So far, we've only tested out the MIG welder portion, but it worked awesome. It is such a nice welder. It's got a really cool front digital display where you just like dial in what consumables you're using and what thickness metal you're welding on, and it changes all the settings for you. It's really cool. And it's also really cool because it's a dual voltage welder, which means it can be powered off of 110 or 220, which was a feature that was really important to me so that we can use it portably around here off our Delta Pro or actually plugged into 220 when we're doing like thicker, more structural welding.
Which is why we're so excited to get our concrete slab poured so that we can go back to making things, because we have all these tools to make things. And we have lots of plans to make things for you guys, to share with you guys. So, the military generator, that's been a big question we've gotten lately.
Yeah, so up until now, we really haven't had any use for that military generator. It's a 15,000 watt generator, and we just don't have any loads that come anywhere near that much draw, and that thing uses a lot of fuel, and it's really loud. But we once we have our more permanent power system installed, we're going to be able to use that generator as a backup that can charge our batteries, and we'll be able to use the full output of that generator to charge the batteries. So it is going to become an essential tool around here for powering things, especially during the winter when we have limited sun and not enough solar, or if we're doing like a whole lot of extensive fabricating and using a lot of power, we'll be able to fire up that generator and quickly charge our batteries.
Ooh, good question. Any more moisture issues with our building? No, like none.
Yeah, so once, there was a lot of moisture in here accumulating on the metal, but once we got all our vapor barriers done and correctly and everything sealed, the attic space dried out naturally.
It took a while to dry out just because we had trapped all that moisture up there, so we ran fans and that helped a bunch.
But now that it's dry up there, it just stays bone dry.
Yeah, and we pulled the insulation like away inside the shop just to see what was behind, and everything has been dry, so that's been great. But that dirt floor downstairs does put a ton of moisture just into the space, and anything we store downstairs gets wet. So another reason we're really excited about our concrete slab.
So we are going to we've learned that we definitely want to do a vapor barrier underneath our concrete.
Yeah. It's like a gross, wet dungeon basement down there right now.
Does Riley wander off like Boone? I do sometimes. I do get distracted.
He comes back though.
I do get distracted up here sometimes and just find myself going on walks to see what I can see. Especially when I'm scoping out where I want to put the solar panels.
Ooh, we would love a sawmill. I think that maybe by next summer. We've got already projects lined up for this summer, but a sawmill would be so cool. We've got quite a few trees that we've saved, like big cedar trees that we would love to mill into lumber.
Yeah, a sawmill would be super fun.
Did we ever run out of waste oil for the heater and try diesel? We did try diesel because we were curious.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much can't tell the difference whether it's running on waste oil or running on diesel. It seems to run exactly the same, so that's pretty cool.
But we didn't run out of oil. We've got quite a few friends up here who we told about the heater, and so we've got Lots of oil.
In fact, we almost have too much oil right now, more than we have the capability of storing, because our 55-gallon drum is completely full.
So we need to figure out a better oil solution before next winter. Radiant heating in the slab would be really cool. The thought of like having another system is a little, I think maybe that's my deterrent.
Yeah, and I mean, we could do a wood boiler to power the radiant floor heating, but we already have a heat source in the shop with the waste oil furnace, so it would just be a whole other thing to have to install and deal with and maintain. So while it sounds really appealing in the wintertime to be able to lay on a nice warm concrete floor to work under a car and melt off snow or whatever, I just don't think we're going to be spending the budget on radiant floor heating.
Does the waste oil smell like chicken? If we burnt vegetable oil at mine or like fryer oil, the waste oil heater doesn't smell like at all. Like maybe a faint hint like a car was just running, maybe. Like not like the exhaust, but just like that. I'm trying to figure out how it would.
I think that most of what we've been smelling right now is actually just the paint off the single wall chimney that we bought. Yeah. Like there's no smell from it.
It's
quite a few of you in the comments have been asking about vegetable oil. That is something we were cautioned against. If we used vegetable oil, there's a like natural fats from things that get fried can coagulate and clog the injector nozzle. So we were told that if you use vegetable oil, you have to have a preheater to preheat the oil and filter it better than waste motor oil. So they recommended just burning waste motor oil.
Yes, definitely rainwater collection and filtration for sure.
For those of you that have just joined and are asking a lot of questions about our water, we talked pretty extensively earlier in the live, so make sure you go back and check that part out rather than re-answering the same questions again. But we do really appreciate your questions.
This was a good one. How much power does the waste oil heater use?
It does use quite a bit of power, especially when it first lights, and then it seems to be about a 200 watt draw while it's running to run the fans and the injector and the fuel pump and the fuel heater. So it does have a pretty good draw at 200 watts.
But it doesn't run constant. Like it doesn't take very long to heat that space up. So, it's...
So I would say that when we first fire it up, it runs for about an hour and a half when it's cold outside and gets the space up to 60 degrees. And then after that, it cycles on for about 15 minutes every hour. So
yeah,
while it does have a pretty good power draw, it's not unmanageable.
The dog's feeders just went off.
So we had these feeders a couple of years ago, and we finally got them back up here and set up. They're automatic dog feeders that just dispense the correct amount of food, and they're pretty cool. We love them. The dogs love them. Like, the dogs just love that they get fed no matter what, and they don't have to rely on us anymore.
So the dogs are eating dinner right now. Are you going to build mountain bike trails?
I cannot wait to build some mountain bike trails around here. Like, this property is going to make for epic mountain biking. We have all the right terrain and right features around here. Yeah. But the house build comes first.
Hope this summer we'll make some time for that. And we actually have a really fun mountain biking trip surprise plan that we'll be sharing with you guys this summer. So stay tuned for... what's the coldest temperature that we experienced?
I think we got down to -6 here.
Yeah, or -8. I think it was maybe -8 here. But then on our trip we went on at the end of winter, it was
-15.
So our coldest weather of winter was not here. But the wood stove kept up fine, and we were plenty warm in our building. It doesn't get super windy where we are, right where our house is, and I think that really helps when it's cold.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The hillside behind us isolates us from the wind. So even when there's windstorm warnings, we don't get any wind right here.
For internet, we were using a MoFi router with a visible wireless plan in the camper, but we are actually able to shoot all the way across to this other mountainside, and we have point-to-point internet now.
So we have regular household high-speed wireless internet now, and it is amazing.
The perk to living on a hill. It's hard to get up the hill, but you can get good internet. Plans, let's see. Gunnison. We went to Gunnison on our trip last winter.
Oh.
That's cold.
I picked my parents up at the airport in Gunnison. It's a nice airport.
We will not be, I don't think we'll be at Overland Expo West in a few weeks. We're just enjoying spring and building and being on the property way too much to leave right now.
We have a lot of really fun, exciting projects, and the trip down to Flagstaff is just a really long ways from here.
I don't know if we'll use Starlink or not. The internet we're using right now is really fast. It's been great, so.
And the price is extremely reasonable. Brian wants to know if we accept gifts. Yes, we do accept gifts. We have a P.O. box in town. The mailing address is on our website if you'd like to go check that out at ambitionstrikes.com.
I think that we, on our last live, told you guys we loved coffee, and you guys sent us so much coffee. It was awesome. I think we're just now running out of the coffee that you sent us, but it was fun to try different brands and like coffee we'd never seen before. And so that was awesome. Thank you guys if you were the ones that sent us coffee. That was really cool.
Coffee is like a morning essential for Courtney and I. So thank you guys for the coffee.
But 1 cup, that's because if we have more than 1 cup, we'll like go out and try to build the whole building in a day. It doesn't necessarily end well.
Bob wants to know if the Snowverlander is going to get its tires back on. Yep,
probably should.
That's on our to-do list here soon. I would love to be able to use the Jeep around the property as just like our multi-purpose tool for moving stuff around.
Right now, it's kind of funny. Like our building inspector or site location inspector came today, and it's funny like having it with snow tracks because people are like, "Why do you have a Jeep on snow tracks? There's no snow." It's kind of funny.
Which, in other news, guys, exciting for Courtney and I. We are fully signed off on our permit up here. We are done with that process, and it feels so good.
So exciting. So that was a question we got a lot. The way our county works, there are not building permits. There's a site location permit through the county. They you apply for it before you start building. They make sure that you're building on your property, honoring easements, setbacks, that kind of thing, and that the type and size of the building is an allowed use based on your zoning. It's very easy.
That's it.
That's it. And so then
That's
he came
the
back
only
out
inspection.
and he signed off on it today. So we are officially permitted. So that's if we do septic, there's a state septic that we'll do as well. Oh, that's a good question. I borrowed a Ford Ranger when I did the Rebel. I was media driving 2 years ago. So it was a 2019 Ford Ranger with the EcoBoost. It was awesome. Like, so I came back really spoiled. It was so nice. It was a little small for like trying to live out of overlanding full time, but for driving it was incredibly nice. It handled really well. The EcoBoost was very peppy, even with the bigger tires. I think it was on 35s. It was a really nice truck. And it was so comfortable, like air conditioned seats, the adaptive cruise control, like it had everything going on. Let's see. Ooh, a cableway. We've talked about that actually.
It'd be pretty fun to just build like some kind of cable car thing that just takes us all the way from down the hill up and over to here. How sweet would that be? That'd be awesome. No more shoveling, no more plowing snow. Just hop in the cable car, and here we go.
It'd be really cool. We've also talked about like ski runs, or I want to build like a gondola that goes up to the top of the hill. It would be so cool. Well permit, yeah. If we do a well, there's also, but I think the well company does.
The well drillers have to be licensed bonded to drill a well in the first place. We're not actually allowed to do. There's like a depth limit you can do yourself, so you can do a shallow well yourself, but you can't do a deep well yourself.
No home insurance problems. We have insurance. They sent an inspector out a few weeks ago, and we just have it insured as our home.
Yep.
How much is diesel in our area?
I think
$4.99.
Yeah.
I think. And yes, the Army truck is running good. You'll see that on Sunday's episode.
It was really fun to bust the Army truck out. It was actually Courtney's birthday on Sunday. We busted the Army truck out and took it to brunch. It was a really fun day.
Well, you just spoiled the whole episode.
Sorry, guys. Spoiler alerts in this live.
There's some exciting bits in there that you'll want to watch. Has anyone in our area hit water at less than 50 feet? Yes, people like down on the flats. There's very shallow wells that like punch water up out of the ground. Unfortunately, our hill does not have any of that.
Like There are some places around here with artesian wells where you literally, when they drill the well, the water starts coming out and they can't stop it, and there are no well pumps. So that's not going to be the case for us up here, but there is some places around here like that. It's pretty cool.
Hi, Kelly. Happy belated birthday. Oh yes, I think the house needs a fire pole for sure.
Definitely.
I think that would be fun. And then the deck off the slider will have a normal staircase. Plus, we have plans for an addition that we can't quite tell you about yet, but it's very exciting.
Hey Wanda, if you want to know more about how we built our camper and specifically the camper walls, there is a whole playlist. So if you go to our YouTube channel and then click playlists, there's an entire playlist on us building the camper that goes into a lot of detail on how we built the sandwich wall panels.
So if we were to drill a well, we would anticipate about 700 feet with 0 to 3 gallons per minute, probably.
For reference, to qualify for like conventional home financing, the well has to get at least 5 gallons per minute, and none of our neighbors that we know of have a well that produces that much. So very low producing wells up here.
Luckily, we're not trying to finance anything, so it's okay. A holding pond, yes, I would love to have a pond or like a shipping container pool or something like that would be really, really cool.
One of our other near future goals is going to be not just water storage for our drinking water and residential water use, but we also want to have a whole bunch of reserve water storage as for fire prevention, so that we can have some big pumps set up here and a way to fight off a fire should it happen. So
yes, and that's why right now this week we're doing a ton of clearing, getting the ladder fuels and pushing back the tree boundary to really make our space more defensible, because that is a concern that we have. Oh, it's so nice to have the excavator. There's no way we could do, like today and yesterday, burning and clearing and slash piles and giant trees. Like, oh, that excavator is amazing.
we get more done in a day with that excavator doing all this land clearing than we would get done in 2 weeks without it. Mm-hmm. And we're not even tired, you know, it makes the work way easier.
So much fun. I love the excavator. I love operating it.
So, yes, Matthew, we will be doing underground cisterns so that they don't freeze. And we also just recently learned that it's good to have them underground so that during the summertime, the water doesn't get hot and grow algae. So it's sort of a 2-for-1. And I hadn't really ever thought about the heat issue in the summer. Mm-hmm. Pancakes or waffles? Both.
Yeah. I think I choose waffles. Actually, I choose Walt's waffles.
Yeah.
My best friend Carla, her dad makes these waffles, and like you have to make the dough ahead of time, overnight, and there's yeast involved, and you like have to stir them, and they are the crunchiest. Like, oh, they're so good. Walt's waffles. That's what I pick.
Kayaking John wants to know, if we dig the well at the bottom of our property, how deep does it have to be? John, if we could answer those kinds of questions, man, that would be super cool. So if you know of a way to gauge how deep a well would be, depending on where you drill it, please let us know.
We can look at logs like of our neighbors, but the problem with drilling the well at the bottom of the hill is then we have to pump the water up the hill. So you have to kind of weigh those.
And we're going to have power here, but we're not going to have power down there. So if we were to drill a well all the way down at the bottom of the hill, then we'd have to have another power system or another generator or something set up there to run the well pump. So
hi Rafal. We were on the hunt for a skid loader. We kind of still are. It would be really nice to have for working on the road, but holy cow, equipment is so expensive right now and impossible to find.
So basically, the new inventory of any skid loaders or track loaders is non-existent. The new ones are completely sold out with huge backlogs, and the used ones now are selling for more than the new ones MSRP. And I think that we're just going to wait it out, and hopefully things...
We wanted to buy new so that we could finance it, so that we don't have to like spend our savings on the equipment, because our savings is what's supposed to fund our summer projects. So we were hoping to buy something new so that we could do the 0 down, 0 interest and finance it like our excavator, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's just nothing available right now. So we're going to make do with what we can, maybe rent some equipment, maybe we'll figure it out. Ooh, favorite Instant Pot recipe. I like chili.
The Instant Pot makes really good chili. It also makes really, really good pulled pork really quickly. So you can make pulled pork in an Instant Pot in about 45 minutes, and it comes out tender and juicy. So I think my favorite's pulled pork.
But Riley's not allowed to use the Instant Pot in my new kitchen.
No explosions on the butcher block countertops.
Oh, we got the tile for our backsplash for our kitchen. It showed up yesterday. But that's going to be kind of an involved project because leave it to me to pick something that's hard to work with. So you'll have to stay tuned for that one. Any natural springs? We haven't found any springs yet. Real quick, we just want to remind you, if you guys are new to the chat, that we are giving away an EcoFlow Delta. Do you want to hold it?
Yeah.
It is a fundraiser for our friend Sam, who recently passed, and for his wife. And so you can go to our website, ambitionstrikes.com, or you can go to the link here and you can buy tickets and be entered to win an EcoFlow. So if you're just tuning in, that's what mostly this live's about, and then also answering your questions.
So along with that, any of the super chats that you guys send us during this chat are going directly to Leah and her family. So our friend Sam that passed left behind 2 young children. It's been really hard for us and the family, and we just love to support them. So if you go on our website, ambitionstrikes.com, you can enter for the chance to win this EcoFlow, and all of the proceeds go to Leah and her family.
Thank you, guys. Let's see. What elevation are you at? I don't know.
We're at about 26 or 2,700 feet right here. We don't really know.
Oh, what's our next major welding project? We can't tell you guys quite yet.
If we told you, it would spoil the video.
We also, it's not for sure, it's almost for sure, but it's very large. And
We're going to need some big equipment.
that's our big summer project. There's like this one giant project that we're planning our summer around, and we are very excited to start telling you about stuff soon, but we can't quite do that yet. Still building any vehicles? Right now, we are not building anything.
I'd love to spend some time going through our LMTV, the Army truck, and get some things dialed in and fixed up.
Yeah, that would be nice. Maybe add air conditioning. It gets very warm in summer in that thing.
I've been working on my Chevy Silverado quite a bit, just fixing all the little odds and ends, and I'm looking forward to getting the shop set up so we can do like a proper, real vehicle build again. I think we need to build some old.
Septic, we will be installing some sort of septic system so that we can have an upstairs toilet. For now, we just have the porta potty, but the long-term plan is an operational toilet upstairs.
The dirty,
And probably down in the shop.
Dirty Knobs wants to build if you're building a skyscraper.
I can't tell you, or I'll have to off you. So yes, that is our plans. It's some sort of probably a conventional septic system. Oh, okay. Gardening, sawmill, yes, and yes, eventually, hopefully, someday. Okay. Yeah. Put you in a timeout. What else have we been up to?
Man, it's just been I don't know, wrapping up the kitchen. All of the little details around the kitchen are done. Like, I have a really hard time at the end of a project getting like the last 20% done, but while Courtney and I were sick, we just hammered out all of the little details in the kitchen, and I think everything but the backsplash is now completely done. Every little piece of trim, every little corner, every little shelf.
All the little stuff that takes forever.
All the drawer pulls and handles and yeah, everything's done.
A channel camping trip in Idaho. That sounds fun. That would be really fun to do. We would love to have something like that. We've also talked about maybe long-term having camping sites that you could book to come stay on the property or that kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe someday we'll be able to do something like that. It's hard to kind of dream about future projects when we were like trying to build our house, but now that that's done, it's way easier to start thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we need to make the road better. Ooh, your favorite frozen pizza?
Oh man, I don't know what the brand is, but there's some that they sell at the local grocery store that I think are locally made. They are so good. They have like the thickest layer of cheese and tons of toppings on them. So that's my new favorite. My old favorite was DiGiorno. They're pretty reliably decent, but these ones they sell at the store here, way better.
Ooh, this is a good one. Do you have any advice for managing lots of life changes all at once? We have a phrase.
Our phrase is embrace the pandemonium, which literally just means like just hang on and enjoy where you're at and what's happening right now, and don't think too much about the past and the future, because if you're present in the moment and embracing today's pandemonium and just making the best of it, that's how you navigate life changes. And I think so far for us it works. I mean, it's not always easy.
And that's after, 8 years where we've learned to sometimes mostly embrace the pandemonium, because you can't control everything.
So pretty much even before we guys took you along for the ride, Courtney and I's life has been in a constant state of change. I think it's where we're comfortable. We're comfortable with new and different and change. And when things start getting repetitive and boring, we struggle in that state. So.
Oh, that's a good question. So, Joseph, that's a good question. Do we have lots of side hustles? We're mostly doing YouTube full time right now. We have our snow track plans that I think we've sold
30 or so sets of snow track plans. So thank you guys, everyone that bought the snow track plans.
We have plans to make more plans for other things. We would love to make camper plans, all sorts of other plans, to share our projects with you guys so that you can also make them. So that is a long-term plan.
Just need to find more time in the day first. But for now, YouTube is actually able to support Courtney and I full time, and that has been amazing. So thank you guys so much for supporting our channel and watching our videos. If you didn't already know this, the easiest way for you to support our channel is to just watch our videos.
And maybe share them with 3 friends. The YouTube thing was really unexpected. We are really fortunate. The plan, we spent every penny we had buying our land and putting up the shell of a building. And the plan was always to sell the truck camper coming into winter. The plan was to camp in our pole barn to fund building the upstairs apartment. And because of you guys and YouTube, we didn't have to do that. And I am so thankful for that, because I love the truck camper and we have plans to own it for a long time and use it this summer, and I love it so much. So the fact that we didn't have to sell it to keep building is because of you guys.
And we're also have started picking up a few more video sponsors that is also a huge help to our income. And as our income grows and our channel grows, we hope that means we can share even more projects with you guys and continue making all these videos. And
we have an endless list of projects that we would love to do and share with you guys, endless. And the limit is just how do we pay for them. So channel growth means more projects, which is very exciting.
So thanks again, guys, for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching the ads. Thanks for thanks for being a part of this with us, because this is what lets us do what we love to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really amazing. I can't believe it. I can't believe that we're here doing this with you guys. Let's see. What's our dream sponsor? I think one of Miller Welders was our dream sponsor, and now we're sponsored by Miller. We met them at SEMA last year, and Karen Lee, and just it worked out. And so I think that we have our dream sponsor. I pinch myself sometimes. It's unreal where we've come. Guys, we're sponsored by Miller Welders. Mm-hmm. That's huge for me. They believe in us and they wanted to support us in what we're doing. So that was amazing. But I do want a skid steer. So if anyone wants to sponsor Courtney with a skid steer to clear snow next winter, maybe that's my dream sponsor.
Mark my words right now. Before next winter, we're going to have a better snow removal system.
Or we're just going to leave. One of the two.
Or we're just going to use the track Jeep and not plow at all. One of the two.
Oh, we would love to build a tree house on the property. I think we have a couple trees that might be big enough to support that.
Sure, trees, but it doesn't have very many humongous trees like some of the trees in the area.
Mm-hmm. A zip line. Oh, that'd be cool.
My big thing right now is I just want a rope tow so I can put a ski run in on this hill.
That'd be really cool. We have lots of plans, like so many, and we want to try to balance like the infrastructure and the critical with the fun, because it's really easy to get caught up in like we need power, we need a well, we need these things, but those are really expensive, really overwhelming projects. And so to kind of sprinkle in some more fun stuff like a mountain bike trail or a zip line or that kind of stuff, I think really helps keep things interesting and fun and not too stressful.
Because the whole reason we moved up here in the first place was to have fun and to get to enjoy this amazing property. And so it's I get a little bit tunnel visioned in the mission, and right now the mission is to get our home set up. So Courtney's good at reminding me to step out of that and have some fun.
And with that, I think it's dinner time. So we're gonna end the chat by saying thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we just want to end with how we started, which is that the purpose of this was that we are doing a fundraiser for our friend Sam who passed away. All of the proceeds from this chat, the super chat, and from our raffle are going to be going to Sam's wife Leah and her kids. We have an EcoFlow Delta, which is a portable power station that we are giving away. For the next month until the end of May, you can buy tickets on our website, ambitionstrikes.com, or I put a link down in the description of this video. Tickets are $10 and enter for a chance for you to win this. It's random. We'll announce it with a live. And so thank you guys so much. I know that this means a lot to Leah. It means a lot to us to help Leah in any way that we can. And thanks for watching, guys. Sunday's video is a fun one. It's about my birthday and the army truck. And we get another truck stuck, and it's a whole thing. So
thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again for supporting our channel. Thank you for coming in and tuning into this live. And thank you so much for supporting this giveaway for our friend Sam and Leah and his family.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you Sunday.